Although I may seem like an odd person to critique a video about Pokemon or Digimon, given I am far from an expert on Pokemon and also know basically nothing about Digimon, my issues with this video have nothing to do with the franchise in question. Instead, what I have encountered is a video that takes way too long saying nothing at all, which is one of my least favorite types of videos if you haven't noticed. And instead of actually providing any useful insight into either Pokemon or Digimon, just kind of talks about them in vague terminology. Take this part as just one example.
When I personally engage with art, when I see something like Digimon Story Time Stranger, I can feel the artist's life experience. I can feel what they are trying to say. I can feel what they thought as they put work into creating this game. When I engage with Pokemon, I don't feel anything. I can't hear any voices from the artists. I can't feel any of the artist's life experiences when I engage with Pokemon.
I find this statement odd given Pokemon was quite literally created because the person behind it had an obsession with bug catching in his youth that he wanted to translate to video game form. Now, maybe that fails to connect with you, or isn't quite what you meant, and if that is the case, I understand on some level. However, what is meant doesn't really get elaborated on in the video, and that is fundamentally the biggest issue with it. Look at this part, where the creator of the video is defining what art is.
Art is the sharing of an idea or feeling, filtered through an artist's life experiences.
If I were to break out my editor's pen here, the margins would be full of questions. Among them, says who? Where are you getting this definition from? Furthermore, what exactly counts as an artist? Is an artist just somebody who makes art? Well, that's kinda circular, don't you think? Furthermore, how broadly are we defining experience here? The original Sonic the Hedgehog was based on an experience one of the people behind the game had while playing the original Super Mario Bros.
Did you know? Sonic's trademark speed was actually inspired by the original Super Mario Bros. In issue 260 of Nintendo Power, Sonic's co-creator Yuji Naka revealed the initial concept for Sonic the Hedgehog's fast gameplay came from playing level 1-1 of Super Mario Bros. Over and over again as fast as he could, since you always had to play the level first regardless of whether you used warp zones or not. Naka said, "I always tried to get through the level as fast as I could, and that inspired the initial concept for Sonic the Hedgehog."
Does that mean any Sonic game which takes advantage of his speed could be considered art given it's taking an experience and filtering it through the lens of an artist? Or do the people behind the Sonic the Hedgehog games not count as artists? If not, why not?
Pokemon is fun, but Digimon is beautiful.
He said it! He said it!
Art is an exploration and celebration of the human soul.
But again, what does that actually mean in any sort of material sense? Look, I understand definitions of concepts like art can be tricky to pin down. However, the reason why I'm asking for this is because otherwise you can arbitrarily determine that art is essentially whatever you want. If you don't want to consider something art, all you need to do is say that it fails to meet the criteria of expression of the human soul, and nobody can really disprove that.
Your soul is shaped by the accumulation of your life's experiences. Through the joy, sorrow, the pain, the struggles, and the triumphs, your soul grows bigger, it gains more color, and it changes shape. Those who go out and live their lives, they experience many things and they meet and engage with many people. Those people have big, interesting souls.
One is forced to wonder if they also have
big meaty claws! What did you say, punk? Big meaty claws!
Those who sit inside all day, poking a glowing rectangle with their Cheeto mittens, those people have small, plain, textureless souls devoid of color, and those people will not be able to create art that is interesting or meaningful to other people because they have nothing to say.
Again, I need to break out my editor pen here. How do you know this? Why do you feel this way? You mention other people. Is there a specific reason for this? Have you ran a survey to figure this out? Do you have any empirical data at all?
I grew up in a bountiful peacetime era known as the 1990s, a very long time ago now.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure they were very peaceful if you ignore all that unpleasantness in Iraq, Rwanda, the Balkans, Oklahoma City, LA, Atlanta during the 1996 Olympics, Columbine. All of these are just off the top of my head, by the way.
Beauty, again, is something significantly more than high resolution, than ray tracing and subsurface scattering, than hyper-realistic, look at all the pores in this character's skin. That is not beauty. That is fidelity. Something that is beautiful is able to reach your soul and to make you feel and understand something on a deeper level.
But again, what does that actually mean? What genuinely are you communicating with that sentence? What you're saying can't be argued with, not because it isn't correct, but because you haven't even said anything that I could argue with. It's like attempting to argue with somebody who tells me the number 6 tastes a certain way. What does that even mean?
Pokémon is made for children, but Digimon is made for people.
Are you under the impression children aren't people? What's the distinction there? Or are you implying that every single piece of media, for it to count as art, has to be targeted at all age groups? Again, this is another case of I'm not even sure if I can refute what you're saying because you aren't even telling me anything.
Pokémon is fun, but Digimon is beautiful.
Oh, that's why they call it that.
Good night and good luck.